Imagine sitting down for a professional audit of your credit card debt, and instead of finding a math error, the advisor uncovers a hidden contact under your sister's name. That is exactly what happens when a host asks to check a 22-year-old's phone to map out a budget, only to realize she is actively texting a side piece right there in the studio. While Al sat across the table trying to figure out how to pay off his loans, his fiancée, Stella, was busy messaging another man, a man she had already been caught cheating with multiple times before. A standard financial audit operates on a straightforward premise. You track your income, you identify bad spending habits, and you use logic and spreadsheets to build a sustainable budget. But logic and spreadsheets are completely useless when the root cause of the debt is active emotional manipulation. Al makes $15 an hour working at an amusement park. He is sinking under payday loans with 700% interest rates and racking up overdraft fees, yet he subsidizes the life of a fiancée who openly disrespects him. Financial ruin is often the final fallout of a toxic emotional landscape, where a lack of psychological boundaries renders basic budgeting tools useless. Stella treats this relationship as a calculated business plan. She doesn't view Al as a romantic partner. She uses him as a mechanism for financial survival. During the interview, her exact strategy comes into focus. By living with Al's family, Stella secures housing and groceries for a fraction of market value, pushing expenses on him. The end game is extraction. She explicitly admits her plan is to hoard her income through this lifestyle until she has enough capital to move to Arkansas on her own. Executing this requires cold calculation. She maintains this financial safety net while carrying on infidelities across Discord and Snapchat, even changing her phone passcodes to hide the evidence. Stella has engineered a one-sided extraction, treating the relationship as a vehicle to drain Al's resources for her own eventual departure. Which brings us to the inevitable logical question: why does a person stay and continue to pay the bills after catching their partner cheating 4 separate times? Al's extreme passivity is driven by a severe fear of abandonment. Psychologists call this a trauma bond, a dynamic where he relies on the exact person hurting him to quell his daily anxiety. He actively accelerates his own destruction by trying to buy security. He sells his PlayStation to fund trips for her and even offers the humiliating concession of an open relationship, hoping that letting her see other men will somehow convince her to stay. For someone trapped in this cycle, the psychological terror of being alone completely overrides the logical, survival-based instinct to protect their own bank account. About halfway through the audit, the spreadsheets become completely irrelevant. You cannot balance a budget when one partner is actively bleeding the other dry. The host abruptly pivots, stepping out of the role of financial auditor and stepping in as an emergency crisis counselor. Recognizing the psychological grip Stella has on him, the host desperately tries to build an exit strategy, offering to personally pay for Al's first 4 professional therapy sessions out of his own pocket. He then throws a second lifeline, offering to fund a career certification course so Al can escape his $15 an hour wage and build true financial independence. Finally, he looks directly at Al and literally begs him on camera to end the engagement immediately, warning him that his entire future is at stake. When a budget review devolves into a desperate psychological intervention, the math is officially beyond saving. Despite all the lifelines offered, the intervention ends in a mess. Stella functionally breaks up with Al right there in the studio, stating she wants to be single and casually admitting her long-term plans never actually included him. Yet, even as she hands him his freedom, Al remains paralyzed. He sits there, still too terrified to let her go, absorbing the abuse rather than walking away. Ultimately, financial literacy and meticulous spreadsheets mean absolutely nothing if you lack basic emotional boundaries. The truth is, you simply cannot out-budget a toxic relationship. Every dollar saved through skipping a coffee or working overtime is instantly wiped out when you are actively funding your own emotional destruction. Genuine financial recovery requires the courage to purge predatory debts alongside the predatory people who created them. If you're ready to see how emotional boundaries define your balance sheet,